in regards to the zone, you know, is it simply a matter of getting Bosch or LeBron right into the middle of the zone? Like, what lineup would you go with that counters the zone when they run to it?
I mean, you know me. I'd go with LeBron at the 4, unreservedly. They were getting. I mean, they did. I mean, the truth is we haven't really seen the zone since Game 1. The fourth quarter of Game 4 was sort of the first time. I mean, we saw it in spots, possession here, possession there, just to sort of, I think, allow Dallas to clear its throat defensively. But, you know, I would go small against the zone. I mean, I would put an extra shooter on the floor, and I would also that would do is allow James to occupy the center of the floor. I mean, whether it's at the foul line, whether it's at the sort of high post, and it would give them more opportunities to sort of move. I mean, the ball gets clogged in the zone when Miami it tries to combat it against Dallas. They've had a horrible time this season. I was really hopeful for their sake that the regular season zone stats wouldn't hold up. And, you know, they got a few lucky long J's in the first game against it. I don't think they conquered the zone so much as they survived it. But I would go small. And I know that's a risk on the boards. I really do. But I think if you have Miller in there, who's a phenomenal rebounder. You've got Wade, who's a phenomenal rebounder. James, I mean, arguably 3 of what? Outside of Iguodala and Jason Richardson, maybe 3 of the 5 best wing rebounders in basketball. I think they can survive.
Hey, we have a question from the audience for you, Kevin. Tell us how the Heat plan to use the pick and roll differently. What adjustments do the Mavs then try to make? By Kirk Serious Face at Twitter.
I don't know that they're going to use it terribly differently. I mean, I think they're going to use it more frequently. They had, I think, precious few sort of true pick and roll sets. That sort of angle, Wade, Bosch pick and roll. Remember that little shuffle step he had? Bosch would sort of orchestrate against Noah or Gibson in the Chicago series. Wow, I'd love to see that against Dirk or even Chandler. I mean, one thing I think they would like to do is lure Chandler out further. Because anytime you can get Chandler in a high pick and roll situation where you're forcing them to trap, which you kind of have to do against Wade to some extent. I mean, Chandler is, I mean, he's inclined to drop back a little, kind of Laker style. But I think obviously anytime you can get Chandler into a pick and roll where he's not manning the paint, okay, that frees up sort of the baseline, and you can work behind their pick and roll defense, and provided that you're moving, and that's something that the Heat aren't doing behind their pick and roll. But I mean, I don't know. I think the difference you'll see is not so much orchestration, though. I mean, I think we all on this show would like to see at least a 2-3 Wade James pick and roll. If they're not running it 6 times tonight, well, wow, that would be a real shame. But I think it's not so much orchestration, but frequency. I mean, they just, Wade has been very ISO heavy, particularly in Game 3. So, I mean, that's what I'm hoping.
Hey, Kev. All right, so you mentioned bringing Chandler out in the pick and roll. You also then, he's the hedging player, so that brings probably their best pick and roll big man defender out into the play. That was something that we talked a little bit about with Garnett, and that, maybe you don't want Garnett's man coming out because he's such a good on-ball defender. What do you think about maybe adding a secondary action? Anthony Macri of Pro Training Centers with David Thorpe told me that he thought a really good action would be Wade, as the ball handler. LeBron comes and sets the screen for Wade, and as Wade comes off, Bosch brings a back pick for James. So you have James then rolling hard to the hoop off the back pick, like looking for a dunk, and then you have Bosch popping to that 18-foot range. What do you think about that kind of double action? Do you think that they'll try to be more complex this game?
No, and that was something they actually did, ironically, in December. One of their favorite plays in December was they would do sort of a pick and roll. It was Arroyo at the time, but they would do kind of a 1-2-5 on the left side, sort of wedge pistol action. I'm getting arcane here, but basically a pick and roll action on the left angle, and then on the right side you'd have James and Bosch set up. Bosch would set a down screen or a rip screen, and then he would come up from the baseline. James would then cut to the basket and then catch, ideally, a slam dunk. I mean, the play was run to perfection against the Clippers in L.A. On the 12th of January. God, I can't even... I'm Rain Man at this point. I follow this team so ridiculously closely. I can actually cite quarters plays and games. But they actually ran that a lot in December and January before Bosch went down with the Omar Ashik injury. But yeah, I think it's a really good action. I mean, they did that when they were running their corner stuff a lot more frequently. James and Bosch on the weak side, down screen for James, cuts to the hoop, catches a pass, slams it home. Everyone is happy.
So, Kevin, Connor Sharp is wondering, do you think Bosch will be as effective tonight if LeBron looks to be more aggressive?
Yeah, because, I mean, one of the things we saw with Bosch, particularly in, the best game Bosch has had is Game 3 of the Chicago series. That was the game that LeBron recorded 10 assists. That was, I think, the turning point, of that series, obviously. I mean, a Game 3. That was the LeBron mega facilitator game. That was when they realized, hey, if Chicago's going to load up on LeBron, he ultimately becomes a distributor. Who did he distribute to more frequently than anyone else? Chris Bosch would be released on the weak side for those jumpers. Bosch goes off for, 30, 32 that night? And it's not a coincidence to me that the level of facilitation that LeBron kind of initiates is directly proportional to the effectiveness of Chris Bosch. And Game 3 in Chicago was sort of indicative of that. If they can sort of replicate that formula, and here's the big elephant in the room. I don't think LeBron should go off tonight. I mean, I don't think they're helped or serviced by the fact of LeBron shooting the ball 25 times tonight. I mean, I think they should get back to the problem was that he wasn't scoring. I mean, it's a problem. You don't want him to only log 8 points. I mean, the problem is that he wasn't involved. I mean, he wasn't facilitating. I know he had 7 assists, but he just wasn't a ball handling creator, the way he was against those pressure defenses in Chicago and Boston series.
All right, Kevin. So how do you see, what do you think LeBron is going to do tonight? Is he going to have a big night? Is he going to go for 20? Is he going to be in the facilitator? Do you have any prediction, or is it even possible to know?
I mean, where are we on this? I mean, I think everyone assumed that Game 4 would be the sort of dialectic game to Game 3, right? He has a somewhat passive, less active game, and so, he always comes back. I mean, LeBron after a loss, here are the stats. And then, of course, he delivers, the worst game of his playoff career. I have no idea. I think Spoelstra's probably feeling a bit of pressure. I don't think pressure from the outside. I mean, I think the pressure you would say if you woke up and you were Eric Spoelstra and said, how can...
Kevin has disappeared. That was probably going to be his last question. So bye, Kevin. Thank you. Really good insight there.